Hello, I'm Claire Ackers, founder of Odesse, and today we are working on a pretty special project. Odesse is celebrating Leeds Pride, and we thought rather than doing a rainbow logo like everybody else, that we would get in our favourite diversity and inclusion specialist, Katie Gleghorn, to have a bit of a chat with us about the topic. So, Katie, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having
You
me.
all right?
Good, thank you. Forward to Pride.
So, first of all, let's start with an idiot's guide. What is diversity and inclusion, or rather D&I, as it's more commonly known?
So, diversity and inclusion, in a nutshell, is ensuring that every community and every group of people has a voice, and that all those voices are listened to and included, and that collectively we understand the challenges that are faced by different demographics and how we can support and help achieve equality for all.
Brilliant, thank you. My 9-year-old daughter was asking me before, and I was trying to think how to sum it up in a nutshell. But that's great, thank you. So, give us a bit of an introduction to your background and your role, if you would.
Yeah, no problem. So, after spending 16 years in financial services in a whole host of roles, ranging from customer facing in the branch network to project management and business analysis, I then got asked to lead our diversity and inclusion agenda for one of our office sites, and from there it just ignited a passion in me that I have now managed to turn into an opportunity to become a full-time D&I specialist as a result of a career change following redundancy.
And why D&I? Why is it something you're so passionate about?
So a couple of years ago, I became involved with a charity called Touchstone. They're quite a large mental health based charity in Leeds, and through their work, they're nationally recognised for lots of work they do in the diversity and inclusion space, and that, along with work in the day role, just ignited this passion in me. I love to learn. And I really enjoy learning about people and different perspectives and different beliefs and experiences. So bringing that all together just ignited this passion in me that really got me out of bed every morning.
I think it's probably worth mentioning that you and I have had opportunity over the past year or so to collaborate on a number of different projects and speaking opportunities through our work in Lean in Leeds. If anyone's interested in joining that, we'll put a link to that in this video. But hearing you speak about the topic, it is absolutely phenomenal. It's clearly something you're really passionate about, and it's a topic that's very in vogue at the moment. But I think that you communicate the importance so clearly, and it's really lovely to have this opportunity to discuss it with you on camera.
Thank you. That's really kind to hear, actually. And just the more I get out there and talk about this topic, then the more instances you can find where actually every single person you come across through whatever interaction that be that professional, personal, online, face to face, there are threads of diversity and inclusion that you can weave through to really highlight the fact that it is something that everybody has an accountability for, and everybody should have an interest in it too, because it does make a difference. It makes a difference on a personal level, but kind of the way of the world in the future, it's really important.
I mean, Leeds Pride, so this Sunday, the 4th of August, seemed to me an absolutely ideal opportunity um, to have this conversation. What for you do you think is the common ground between Pride and D&I?
So Pride specifically is around celebrating the journey that the LGBTQ plus community has gone over the years and the challenges that they've faced and overcome. But Pride, as much as it's about celebrating the journey so far, there's also some really key messaging in there as well about actually what obstacles the LGBTQ plus community have still got to overcome, and how allies and members of that community can support in overcoming those obstacles. And I think broader than that, LGBTQ plus is just one of the communities that fall under the D&I umbrella. So some of those challenges overlap with other communities, and actually it's about celebrating journeys, but looking at what's still to come. Just a kind of hard-hitting fact that's specific to the LGBT community. In over 70 countries across the world, it's actually illegal to be in a same-sex relationship. So I think that really, really makes it hit home that just to be in a relationship with somebody that you love is really not a given for lots of individuals across the globe, and how fortunate we are to have laws in our country that support those relationships.
How's Leeds and Yorkshire doing generally on the topic, from what you've personally seen?
So, I mean, I was really, really encouraged to see that last weekend there was another Pride event at Hebden Bridge. So there's lots of different Pride celebrations. We're not that far away from Manchester Pride. There's lots of initiatives, and I think that it's just work that needs to keep on going. Leeds has got a really strong LGBT community. I think naturally, the further north you get, sometimes, if you look at the tapestry of the big city like London, who are so advanced with their diversity and inclusion agenda, however, still got room to progress. I think the Yorkshire and Leeds are doing really well at keeping that agenda going and making great progress. But I think the stories and the challenges of the individuals and the allies are really important to just keep talking about, and I don't envisage that that's going to diminish anytime soon.
Fantastic. Okay. So why do organisations need to take this topic seriously, rather than just kind of shunt it off into the wider umbrella of HR issues?
So it's been proven time and time again that the benefits from having diverse workforces are there for organisations to see. If you've got a range of perspectives in your workforce, a range of experience, a range of styles and preferences, then that has real tangible benefits. You become better as an organisation at problem solving. You are better equipped to serve your customers because you understand that customer base more. And that in itself equates to actually making more money. So the business benefits for having diverse workforces are all there. And diversity and inclusion has a really strong element of self-reflection. And I'm really bought into, yes, there may be organisations where actually, HR might pick up or have historically led some of these initiatives, but I'm a real firm believer that everybody has got a D&I accountability, regardless of your role in the organisation, regardless of how long you've been there. You've all got a responsibility to make a difference, and I think it's something that more and more organisations are taking seriously, which is great to see.
What's the number one mistake you see companies making with regards to the D&I agenda?
I think it's really easy for organisations to treat diversity and inclusion as a tick box exercise. And for organisations to think that we'll throw some initiatives out there, we'll sponsor Pride, we will support a charity, and that's the job done, and it absolutely isn't. So yes, an organisation can be supported by really thorough and excellent process and procedures when it comes to diversity and inclusion, but essentially this is around people and behaviours. And if an organisation does something that's tactical, they're not going to maintain that momentum. So you're not going to be able to attract new talent, and you're also not going to be able to retain existing talent too. There's also the element that actually, because this is around behaviours, people will see straight through that. So if organisations are just paying lip service to their diversity and inclusion agenda, it really doesn't take long for that to become apparent. And the impact of that then is quite detrimental, because the vast majority of people are value-driven people. So if an organisation's words and actions don't match, then that's going to become really apparent and is going to result in colleagues not being engaged.
Almost worse than not bothering in the first place.
Yeah.
Doing it sort of inauthentically.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay then. So for companies who are hoping to instill a proper, robust diverse and inclusive culture, what would your top tips be for them?
So in terms of top tips, I think everybody's got to start somewhere, and I think it's really important whether you're looking at this as an organisation or whether you're looking at this as an individual. The diversity and inclusion agenda is really unique to every individual. You go on your own personal journey with it because that's completely influenced by your perspective, your experience, your beliefs. Everything that makes you you puts you at whatever position you are in your D&I journey, be that right at the beginning and I'm just learning, or actually I know a little bit more and I'm going to influence and take people on their journey too. In terms of top tips then, I think it's important to be curious but be respectful. So there's lots of areas, there's new emerging areas in diversity and inclusion, and nobody expects everybody to be an expert on all of those topics. So you can ask questions and do ask questions, but if you do that in a respectful way, then usually that's got a really positive outcome, and that's how you broaden your knowledge and how you can shape your understanding of where you are in your journey. I think another top tip that I'd love to share with everybody is just to seek out difference. So it's really easy for us as humans to look for safety in things that are the same, and that might be physical attributes or styles and preferences, whatever it may be. But actually, if you encounter somebody who is different to you, so be that age, race, social background, even just their preferred style in the office. So if you're in a meeting and somebody handles a situation and you think, do you know what, I'd have never thought to approach it like that, that's difference right there. And engaging with people off the back of those scenarios is usually a really good way to broaden your perspective too. Listen, I think, is another top tip. So like I said, I made the point earlier around D&I being a lot around self-reflection too, which can often be quite difficult, but listen. So there's going to be conflict. You've got beliefs, perspectives, experience, and not everything is going to work in harmony all the time, and that's okay. But listening to other people's opinions and experience and just taking that away and then reflecting on it yourself to see whether actually does that change your view on a certain thing, or does it enhance it, or actually you have the same opinion that you were before. Everybody's got that right, but really active listening, which I think most people to do that and do that well, it's quite a skill to learn. Another couple of top tips then is be an ally. So you don't have to be part of a particular community to be an advocate for them or to understand the challenges that they're faced with, or the obstacles that they've overcome. So be an ally, so understand that perspective and be an advocate for that community. That's a really, really good one that would make a whole difference to the world we live in. And then finally, just something to remember is it's hard work. It's really hard work is everything in a D&I space, because as I've said countless times already today, you are thinking and trying to influence people's perceptions, people's beliefs. And they're from their experience that's unique to them. So if this work was easy, I wouldn't be in a job anymore, and it would have been done. But we've come so far, but there's still a long way to go. So celebrate the quick wins and celebrate those little instances where, do you know what, you have made a positive difference because you've increased your understanding, or you've acted as an ally and spoken out in support of a community. Celebrate those little victories, because all of those team together make a massive difference.
Brilliant, thank you. I mean, I think that's probably all we've got time for today. But I really, really hope that there's maybe an individual or a manager or an owner of a company that's watching this and is inspired to take action, which would be an absolutely phenomenal outcome. So thank you for your wise words there, Katie.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.